Okay, I just finished rendering the last gameplay of Dead Space, so I think I'm going to do my business speech now. It might get a little dull and boring, especially when I'm trying to figure out what exactly to say. There's my YouTube, Instagram, Twitter. Check it out. I'll minimize all that. Got that. Just need that. And then make it bigger. Good. No, I don't really know how to do this. Cat's messing around back there somewhere. I don't really know how to do this, but I've been working on a business for I don't even want to like I said I don't want to call it that, but I have a speech here, and you know what? I'm just gonna go ahead and read it. There are some parts that I was like, oh, but still, it still gets the point across, and it's what it's about. Okay, let's start right off, I guess. I am a little bit different. The mission is to achieve a level of integrity never once before thought to be possible, however always dreamt about since the beginning of time. Around the world, the biggest problem is what? Famine, war, jealousy. I believe the problem is one of two things: boredom and cleanliness. Not talking about your average what to do boredom or typical 30-minute tidy that comes with living in a home. I'm talking about the fact nothing memorable has happened next to 9/11 over also the various natural disasters in the past 20 years. In that time, we have filled said boredom with unnecessary ignorance and violence as a planet. Not you or I, all of us, everyone. 20 years is a long time to have nothing to do besides work to pay bills, to live just so you can go to work. However, it is a necessity, thus creating a huge rut in all of our lives. We need to change. Starting with the cleaning up stage, Pelican Enterprises is 99% towards the complete recycling of every and all materials that are not in use, given to any and all to whom can make use of it, to make something new. The amount of recyclable materials sitting all over the world is quite a bit, like all of them. Seeing as everything that ever was or will be made can be recycled into something new, basically the millions of tons. How come you're wet? Playing in the sink, probably. Shouldn't be doing that. What was I? Basically, the millions of tons of garbage where? Everywhere. Shortly after the recycling process is underway, everything else will fall into place. The complete rid of all garbage as a whole, bringing all recyclable, will bring upon a greener environment, unimaginable new technology. Yes, cat, you want some attention. I'll move these papers out of the way. Unimaginable new technology. There is a necessity to my company that I am sure everyone will see eventually. Within an article I recently saw from 2012, and I say recently, but it was dated for 2012, that there was something about 2.6 trillion pounds of garbage that would be created for that year or something like that in wherever I was reading it about. I guess I should have copied that source down, but you can Google it, I guess. Here's the problem. It's fairly hard to find work. Okay, this was written, and this next part was wrote in a little bit afterwards. Because, oh, cat, here's the problem. It's fairly hard to find work around where I am. Recently, I lucked out at finding a temporary job as a maintenance man in the apartment I live in. I've been a stay-at-home dad for the past while, so I've been busy. This isn't about money, although a lot is involved. There are 1 trillion instances From the moment you wake up to the first blink, and if you choose to, you could change the world. And someone would help you. That's what I'm trying to and that's what I'm trying to do. Be that someone. I'm going to be sincere here for a minute. For as long as I can, the world we live in, I am not particularly fond of the way things go. You don't want it, throw it away. What is there to do? This is kind of around where I live. Where I live, we have the gym, friendship center, and then an arena, and the grocery stores, some restaurants, and then there's like 3 or 4 bars. There's not a whole lot of extracurricular activities to do, and that's kind of the stuff I'd like to address, which I will address. As I don't know how long this is already going on for. I think I'm just gonna upload this in one big long chunk, and then I'll edit it to later on today. I guess wherever I was. Although a lot is involved. I already read that one. Bellinick Enterprises will fix that. Now keep an open mind when watching this. I don't really know how to run a business. However, I'd imagine it would be something along the lines of make a plan. Now, I'm gonna go a little bit off here and talk about my plan because, like, the first of the stages in being a success in running a successful company is you make a plan, you stick to that plan, and you get people to help you with that plan. I'd imagine that those two, and then just kind of see where it goes from there, I guess. And yeah, go on and talk about my plan. Now this isn't the full plan, but I still got like another 5 more pages of reading to do. Probably double paged. So if it gets a little dull, or it's not a little as, but you know what? This is about the future, man. It's gotta happen. I'm just sitting here reading this. Anyways. Now for the most, just gotta make sure I got right pages. Yeah. Now for the most part, I am looking towards expanding coast to coast, covering 3 major issues in my opinion: cleanliness, boredom, and community. All of what I am going to talk about is not about me or you today or tomorrow, but the legacy. But the legacy. We do not need garbage. Need there needs to be a lot more fun, and we need to have more social events going into greater detail, and I'll do what I can to cover everything. I show not sorry, my writing's kind of sometimes atrocious. It gets a little better later on. And I'll do what I can to cover everything, to show not only all of you, everyone who's watching this, also myself, the possibility and viability of what is possible through a team effort. For the past few years, I've been putting together all these plans for world peace, and basically to do something, and they all boil down to, and I'll start with the big issue that Bellinick Enterprises B wants to cover, and that's recycling, like on a massive scale. We literally take all the garbage dumps and go for 100% cleanup, repurposing, remanufacturing, and redistribution of everything that is just sitting there. Now, I don't like talking about money. Let's be realistic. Think for your average sized town, equipment, hourly wage, and feeding employees. I think for one garbage dump, a minimum of 250,000. Now, a lot of that would be reimbursed from the recycling. No, that's just a rough estimate, you know. Uh, Obviously, I'm still just putting this together, and hopefully, you guys could have some insight in the comments or something like that below. Reimbursed from recycling materials. Everything I'm going to say is about creating jobs and general increase of social posture. In a step-by-step process of dump cleanup, I'd imagine it'd be organizing the wood, usable, non-usable, burnable, metals, sellable or usable, appliances, recyclable or sellable, and tires recycle. And then obviously you got to recycle the tires, right? I somebody told me that they once read an article. Somebody told me that they once read an article saying saying I'm gonna move this. I'm gonna move this so I don't have to look at the video screen, so that it looks like I'm actually looking this way. Somebody said that with all the tires that are just laying around the world, they could circle around the world like either they said 3 or 8 times. They could all the tires that could be recycled could circle the Earth a few times, and that's quite a bit. Which, if that is true, then I'll go into the bigger plan later on. Like, tires, recyclable trash, and then like trash, I'm talking about the real trash, like the stuff that like your rotten foods, and like obviously if you go to the dump, you know there's gonna be bags full of rotten food, all that stuff that just this is rough because if I'm gonna do this job and actually have this business, I'm gonna be one of the guys in the pit. But you know what I mean. You know what I mean. The gnarly stuff. And the trash we tear down and you clean it, and that's what I was thinking because it could still be recycled besides the stuff that needs to decompose, right? You know, you just clean it with pressure washer and bleach water and all that ugly water. I was thinking filter out best you could, and I'm trying to go into minor details about the bigger details, but I'm just going to cover all the bigger details first. So I'm gonna go back to talking about the the these are the mega details, and then each mega detail obviously will have their minor details later on. To organizing, disinfecting, and then recycling and selling the obvious stuff, which this in turns creates jobs for everyone. Then that and in turns assists with the homeless population. Like a homeless population is definitely something that's going to be addressed. So hopefully anybody who's watching this is still even watching it. Who knows? By giving them jobs with what we pay their rent and food until things move forward in their like we'd assist the homeless population by giving them jobs, and with that we would pay their rent and their food. So with all those empty hotel rooms or whatever, right? And they wouldn't get unless they were doing that extra work to help pay, because it would be a part of a homeless population decretion program or something like that. That obviously would be beneficial for everyone. Any and all materials that can be used will be repurposed in any way possible. Now, this is where Bellinic Enterprises, pyramid of calculated success comes in. Where for starter, and after I do the video, I still got to build the pyramid. I'm pretty sure I have a pretty good scale in the imaginations, but I'll actually build the pyramid. And even though I'm going to upload this video, just me with the face, I am going to do a little bit of editing after it's done uploading and stuff like that. So it'll look pretty good, and it'll have pictures and all that stuff, and little sound effects if you guys want, I guess. For starters, we would clean up a dump in the first place. It's out of the way. Oh, okay. For starters, I skipped the line. For starters, why would we clean up a dump in the first place? It's out of the way. Obviously, it's no big deal since nothing's ever been done about it before. So why not just leave it be? Besides what I forementioned about the jobs and the cleanup, this is where the idea for garbage collections gets real fun. After all the nasty is cleaned up and parts, like I mean like appliances and stuff like that you find, and extra stuff that is at the dump already. After all the parts are organized in their respective categories, we start step 1 of settling the areas of promoter, vehicle, and airsoft stunt parks. And what I mean by that is we'd have to go through all the process of making sure everyone's all safety and everything like that. But say you had, your level 1 and 2 players where they're just playing the airsoft, anywhere for kids from ages 5 to 10. And then you get a level 3 of guys, they can Like the level 1 and 2, they can go on the ground, and the level 3, they can start climbing the stuff, and then like level 4 or 5 is where they can start driving the quads around the arenas and to entertain the kids and stuff like that. If you think about it, if you had people who were in those categories, and I'm just saying numbers, we'll have to figure out that all minor details later. But like, I'm gonna go into more details about this as I'm talking here, because that's the big thing. As soon as you get the garbage dumps cleaned up, then what? What are you gonna do with all that space? Why not have the garbage cleanup towards something that's going to benefit everybody? And it would be fun. Uh, Respected categories, we start step 1 of settling the areas up for motor, vehicle, and airsoft stunt parks. I live in Canada, right? As much as I'd like to see this as global, for right now, I'll do what I can to do this cross country. And maybe I'll just try and. I gotta make a sign. I got a sign over there. I'll make a little sign. I'll go hang it outside, I think. Just say, hey, check it out. Uh, right now, I imagine cross Canada. No more garbage. I hate when I do that because I sometimes I write words shorter in like abbreviated forms and think that I'll know what I mean later on. With is then after that a countrywide tournament, and by countrywide tournament I mean once you have all these actually, and once the garbage dumps are, it's like, what are you gonna do with all the garbage anymore? It's not gonna be garbage. Hopefully, if people are interested on the scale that you get kind of get it going on, then there wouldn't be need for garbage anymore. Instead of having one garbage, one thing for bottles, and one thing for compost, you have your bottles and your compost separately, but then you still have your garbage can that has just like 5 or 6 different categories in it. Just a little bag, just like that, I guess. And this is where after all this is all set up, like the sun parks and everything, then you have the countrywide tournament, and I think that would just be fun. Like I don't know if you see the first video I made where I was talking about new sports. That's what I'm talking about. Some really, and could you imagine watching that on TV? I have a lot more new sports too, and I'm not. I guess still got only got 3 more pages to go, but I guess that's not too bad for now. Uh, You could broadcast that on television. Nah, I just finished talking about TV and it says it right there. Television, you could make your own teams. On top of that, after the areas are cleaned up, you can start planting vegetation. I'll go into more of that one later. And then, okay. Okay, yeah, right there, I kind of had one. That was all kind of the first part, I guess. Like, I don't know what difference the numbers make when. On top of that, after the area is cleaned up, you can start planting vegetation. I'll go into more. I read that. With the parts organized, and we all know there's quite a bit of reusable stuff there, even wood. Old heaters, motors, washing machines, scrap sheet metal. In the process of settling up the now organized dumps, and we'll still call them dumps. This is where everyone can benefit from this by getting the schools involved, by taking classes such as workshop and your sciences like electronics, stuff like that, and have it as a school effort where every class works together to make things such as dog houses that have heaters in them. If you took the recycled wood and you had workshop build the frame and all that stuff, the door, then you could have then you could have your sciences classes build the heaters, and maybe even sensor doors that open up when the things are when the dogs and like heated dog houses for the winter. We live in Canada; it's cold, right? It's kind of cold, and you just have all these classes building things together instead of, because growing up in school it was very easy, kind of. had the downside of growing up in the popularity scale, I guess. So this would be a group effort that would get people together, right? I'll continue reading. And them putting together sheds or making art to sell as fundraisers for school activities. Going to addition to my first point, could have the kids or students, because I want people for all ages to be able to come down for an afternoon. Have the students build arena platforms. By arena platforms, I mean like the dump arena. Dump. I'm pointing over there. Maybe I'll put. This will be after I edit the video. I'll put a little dump thing right here. Eh? Oh yeah, wait. There it is. Boom! Look at that. After the dump cleanup, and then I'll do a little. And then, that'd be a very good a little editing right there, and be all cleaned up. Shit. Anyways. Have students build arena platforms with locked doors as obstacles, and then for more than your average go and shoot airsoft games, you make it suitable for team building exercises that implement well-defined strategy, also in intuitive placing puzzle pieces around to say, I don't know why I put new in quotations, unlock doors or activate levers. And again, I'll go into more of this later, discussing the more finer details. That's kind of just the first start, and sure, that first part is messy. Cleaning up the dump. Nobody wants to do that. And that's kind of why it'd be so expensive. That's kind of why I mentioned 250,000. Because I don't need to go buy my own new trucks and equipment like that. I can go. The whole idea is to then rent or outsource. I guess somebody told me. He said, "Brandon, what you're trying to do is you're trying to get in." He didn't say it like this, but it's the best way that I'm going to explain it. I'm trying to go for perfect outsourcing. Be more. Be part of something else. Be part of something greater of yourself. Be part of something bigger, and be part of something bigger, and just try and make it. Anyways, like paying people to go to the dump and then organize all that stuff, that's where it gets expensive. I wouldn't do anything. I used to work on the rigs and I was making $20 an hour. That was pretty good. That was the most I've ever made. I wouldn't go anything less than 20. Obviously, I have no capital right now. That's why I'm making YouTube videos, trying to get my awareness up, and every view minute counts, obviously. Let's go back to reading, I guess. Managing all the materials at the dump would decrease the cost of living. Okay, this is kind of where it gets good too, because this is true. I don't have any facts about this, but I'm pretty sure it is true. Managing all the materials at the dump would decrease the cost of living. Now that be manageable, and I guarantee there's a lot of wrappers, chip bags, cookie plastics that you throw out, and it's all at the dump right now. By recycling all of those 2 cents of plastic, all those 2 cents, all of them, half a cent, whatever, all those across Canada would probably be a few million in plastic. And then you sanitize them, give them back to said companies, and I believe everything would decrease in price at every store for tools, cutlery, toys, everything. Like, even chips would be less expensive if the bags ended up back at the company instead of. Most people recycle. Me and my girlfriend, we try and recycle as much as I can. She's a lot better than I am. I know I'm trying to start a business on recycling, but I'm not the perfect recycler. I don't like putting meaty stuff with the other recycling, but I guess that's probably my fault. Sorry. Oh yeah, and everything, I believe it would decrease by at least 10%, like your total cost of everything. If everything was recycled, I don't know if I can mention this in a YouTube video without copyright. I'm trying with all the guidelines and copyright and monetization, stuff like that. But I'm going to quote an episode of Futurama, and maybe I'll even find the clip if I can do that. In Futurama, it mentions everything is recycled, even their sandwiches. Why not? And especially if you take existing technology and you give it to an inventor who's already inventing something, and this existing technology has familiar schematics to this guy, but then he's like, oh, here's an idea. And then all of a sudden it's like this. And it's like, whoa, that's what I'm kind of, that like enterprise is going about. And I would love to see some of those YouTube inventors kind of give me a little bit of a share. I'm gonna try to use this one as my screenshot. Wait, can I take a screenshot? Hey, I got that nice screenshot. Okay, I'm gonna come back to reading. Hopefully I didn't lose too many people's attention. Yeah, I'll go, like I said, I'll go into more of this later. So I got 2 more pages to go. Going on to the real fun stuff, which is community. Figure 100% possible gardens in every household area. In your backyard, going back to the students, said you don't have the time or like the time to have a garden in your backyard. Get the children at the school who are taking the botany classes. Get them to come and manage, try and figure as they're in school, they're learning about the certain pesticides and stuff like that, and then growth, and then you get them to manage your gardens. Get the students involved. Going back to the students, to say you don't have time for the work, children could be hired to maintain gardens and build wooden crates at school, like for by wooden crates I mean for planters. At school, the entire garden could be started at the school to begin with giving every student and homeowner something to look forward to in the week. Say this because say you only need to check a garden and pick weeds maybe once or twice a week. So especially the elderly people, they have someone to visit, stuff like that, right? Alright, that's where I was. Then reverse to the garbage cleanup. Children could go around collecting grocery bags of garbage for pickup, and we'll talk money later. Definitely, I don't want to talk too much about that because that's where people lose interest, because that's probably the most important thing. It'd be nice to not have it, but now that was mostly all recycling talk. Next topic I'd like to go over is automotive. Seeing as I live in Canada and winter is already here, a big portion of what I am concerned of is vehicle safety. Last year, I saw the most horrifying video I've ever seen, and it scared the hell out of me. Given as I've been in scary ice conditions, and I'm going to describe this video. It was terrible. It's vehicle after vehicle, and everybody in that video didn't survive, and it scared me. Like halfway through, I was like, okay, and it really got me. And every time I think about it, it's like, oh man, I want my girlfriend to drive safe. I want everybody to drive safe in the winter, because that's scary. And with your guys' support, this will definitely be covered. I've seen a blizzard collision videos. To be honest, it scared the hell out of me. So given as I've been in scary ice conditions, with your support, I would have full coverage for your vehicle. Your average month of your vehicle insurance is anywhere from $100 to $250, right? Anyways, which not to well, anyways, why not pay that to this? If you're gonna still pay like that much a month, why not pay it to this company? And I'm not saying this is me, Bellinick Enterprises, even though it's Bellinick Enterprises B. It's a group effort. I can't do it alone. Why not pay that to this, where we try to be your insurance company while putting full vehicle coverage, maintenance, and everything? Because you have to pay your vehicle coverage every month, and then you still have to pay your upgrades, your new headlights, your tires, and all that shit. And after you buy a vehicle, you still end up paying $10,000 for it after you're done paying for it. But that wouldn't be the case anymore. And I know some people are going to say, well, how are you going to still all pay for this? That's not what we're worried about right here. What we're worried about is increasing betterment of life. That's what we're worried about right here. So we would try and be your insurance company while putting winter tires on your vehicles, always new bulbs, full safety, roadworthy. That should, and you know, in all realistic, it should be standard service anyways. That next page, I guess. Yeah. Now on the topic, now this is where it really gets stuff. Check that out. Full edge-to-edge papers. I was just like, yeah, I'm wasting a lot of space, like using, not using the full page. I was like, yeah, that's lots of. Now, on the topic of automotive, I'll split this and talk about recycling, fundraising, building, and cars all at the same time. This is where it gets really good because if you live in cities, I don't know, is it illegal to mention city names in YouTube videos? If you live in a city like PA, Saskatoon, Edmonton, I'm just listening to big cities that I can think of. Because I live in Canada, and you know, you'll understand what I'm going to be talking about right here, and you'll understand how different and better fucking swore gonna. I don't know if I'm gonna edit that beep in. Maybe if I can do that after. I don't want to have to render this video. So sorry for swearing, I guess. Okay, now on the topic of automotive, we'll split this into all of the categories: recycling, fundraising, building, and cars, all at the same time. Everywhere you go, you can see either cars for sale, rent, driving, parked, stripped, broken down, or in a junkyard. And I guess broken down and in a junkyard are the same thing. So my plan is to buy every single one of them, not yours because your vehicle will already be rescheduled for any possible upgrades we can come up with later determined. I remembered what LD stood for at that time. Like every vehicle sitting there, gone. Get rid of them. Like every vehicle that's just sitting there stacked up. You know what I mean? Recycle them. All that extra space. I live in LaRonche, Saskatchewan, and you guys know what I'm talking about. You guys drive down those roads, you guys see stacked vehicles. You drive down by Napa, you guys see those stacked vehicles. Recycle them. Give them to us, even though it don't exist yet. But give them to us. And recycle them. Now, I said before, recycle to me is to upgrade. Did I say that before? Did I forget that? Anyways, yeah, recycle to me is to upgrade. We take every non-use vehicles and scrap it. We take all the copper, all the fabric, all the plastic, all the metal frames, and we figure out the next few things. You know, I don't know if these numbers are true, but say you take 30,000 gas vehicles, and then let's try and figure out how many electric vehicles we can make. You know, maybe we could only make 2 or 3, but still, I think that'd be way better, especially with the millions of cars just sitting there in all those dealership parking lots. They're just sitting there doing nothing. And why is that? Because we're living in the industrial age. That's the bottom line of this is that we gotta move on. We gotta move into a new era. Whether you guys, hopefully some people are interested. Yeah, we take those 30,000 gas vehicles and we see how many electric vehicles we can make. Upgrades for the stunt parks will be incredible. Taking all those scrap down vehicles, you know, just spray off all the rest, paint them, you know, make sure that these people don't get tetanus, stuff like that, and then you just bring those vehicles in as decorations to have and obviously there's like how many tons of metal of cars. You wouldn't take, if you take 60 and recycle them, you wouldn't take 35. You'd probably take 4 to the stunt park, and then the rest of them would be recycled for other. Who knows? And I'll keep going here. Oh yeah, there we go. I was just thinking about when I was going to mention what I was going to think when I was thinking about mentioning. We take and figure out how many electric vehicles we can make. Upgrades for the stunt parks, and maybe even make some spaceships. Because if you think about it, all these wasted vehicles just sitting around doing nothing, we could probably build one massive space station or 2 space station. We could probably build one massive space station, or we could build 2 or 3 rocket ships, like spaceships, and obviously it'd be a little cooler building a space station. But that's again getting into more of the fictitious stuff. I'm just brainstorming here because if you think about it, all of the vehicles, all of them that aren't being used, that are just doing nothing with them, why not just give them to me and I'll do something with them? And I'm not the smartest guy. I'm not saying that I could do something with them. I'm saying that why not give we all have the possibility to do something, right? That's what we're going about here. Along the maybe make some spaceships along the way. Who knows? Then after all that extra space is cleared up, boom, more gardens in the rural areas, rural 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 areas, side like all those side roads where the junkyards used to be after it be cultivated and all that stuff. Why not have gardens there? Just have to clean up the rust and stuff like that. In the cities and at the dealership parking lots, seeing as they'd be empty now, and obviously this is going to be really tough because that would take millions of dollars to complete this part, but it would totally be worth it after everything would be all done. The dealership parking lot, seeing as they'd be empty now, boom, bring back fun by boom. Bring back fun by putting carnival type activities at every corner. Basically, if you can see where you live in an industrialized society, I'm looking. Let's make sure I read this right. And if you can see where you live and all in an industrialized society, I'm looking with everyone doing their part, we change that. We all have a vehicle, so all those extra ones, let us use them for something. There. Just wanted to make sure I hope that made sense. I think it made sense. Like, why don't we strip them and either melt the metal for something else or lighten them and use them for. Oh, yeah, I think I put VR driving it because that'd be cool to see the stunt parks and actually have. Why not use some of these vehicles to build 1 or 2 vehicle arcades in a couple towns or something like that. You just grind all the extra metal off, and then you just put hydraulics stuff like that on it. It'd be cool. That's just a brainstorm idea. Or something, and turn them into projects for kids to build vehicles for their town's stunt park, and or maybe newer type of vehicles like Teslas. Pretty damn sick. Um, oh yeah, we could build custom vehicles for your vehicle. Say we got stage 4 initialized, and the stunt parks are actually a real thing. You know how cool that'd be to have your city's teams build vehicles to go to this countrywide tournament. I'm gonna take another screenshot. I think so. Save that one. Wait. I don't know. I don't even know if I'm gonna take a screenshot. Maybe I just look like an idiot right there. Um. Oh yeah, to enter your country's wide tournament, so everybody's involved. I'm talking about. I put another little like a acronym of letters that I don't understand. I don't remember what I meant. So on top of suiting your vehicle for any possibility, as a higher standard of us, we'd clear all of that scrap vehicle metal to make room for gardens. Okay, I'll reread that. We'd clear out all the scrap vehicle metal to make room for gardens. And more gardens, students and workshops would have an indescribable amount of metal to work with to design, learn, new things, design and learn new things. I'm going to move onto the company safety standards. If you've had a job, you've heard it before. So I'll make this simple. You work in even a semi-dangerous environment. I figure like you get a full set of equipment. Is basically what I'm trying to say. I don't know why I started talking about stuff like that. Anyways, yeah, you get if you're working at any point, you get Bionic Enterprise will do what it can to get you a full set of equipment, max it all the way safety gear to be appointed. I don't know, however, I feel it is time to talk about construction. Now again, this is going to make construction now again, this is going to make construction companies there are lots. I'm talking we go into your house and upgrade. I don't okay, hopefully I don't make too much nonsense here. I'm talking we go into your house and upgrade them. Now I have to actually go and purchase my base of operations in order to show you what I mean by computer system built into the okay. Yeah, this is kind of still going about us increasing a higher level of standard. Do I know how to do what I'm talking about? Not as an expert. But what I'm going to be talking about is if I had the resources and tools and whatever else, I probably could do a minor set of myself, and I wouldn't necessarily. But this is where hiring people comes into play, right? Because this is just me coming up with the ideas, and hopefully people are getting interested in the ideas, and it'd be fun. It'd be fun. Oh yeah, and then we what we do is we just recycle pretty much any pieces of computers that we can, and we build an internal. Like you've already got your smart home and stuff like that, so why not just have them a little more mainstream? I guess all those other companies, why not have the anyway? Okay, I'll keep going. That runs through your house for like a HDMI system that runs through your house for every room. USB outlets for mouse connectivity. Like say you had one computer that was just fucking like 30 gigabytes RAM, good to go, HDMI system that runs all the way through your house, and you just whatever room you were in. Same thing with your Xbox, and just have that USB plug-in outlet or a wireless wireless mouse and keyboard, and you could just and try and make it powerful enough to run multiple people at the same time. Basically, that's just as simple as having multiple laptops, I guess. But I'm also trying to do a little more than that, and there's a reason why it'd be cool to do that step, and then the later steps that kind of follow. Because all of my ideas have trillions and trillions of sub ideas, and it all goes down the scale like that, eh? Like all goes all over the map, and it's all just all maybe when I actually upload the video, this part right here. Ooh, I'll actually what I'll do is I have a little map and a little. Maybe I'll try and make sure I follow a little light following my fingers. Okay. Anyways, back to the task at hand. Increasing homeowner. Obviously, renovations for increasing homeowner productivity, space, safety, and basically turning every home into smart homes. And sure, like I don't know how to do that. I'm not a smart home company guy, but there are lots of other ones. So we'll just see how the whole advertising of Bionic Enterprises goes and see who. Like I do have some schematics down, and I don't know where they are. I should think they're down there. I do have some schematics of what I could potentially use as a smart home design because I do come up with designs whether I know if they'll work or not because I haven't tested them. I do draw some things though. So basically turning every home into smart homes. Why not? I mean, it'd be cool. Why not you know, have a smart home design with a computer with a central computer system, and then you go get your Google Assistant and your Amazon, whatever they're called, connected to that. It would be a lot cooler, and or depending. Sorry, I'm going on too long about this. And I see a lot of places that their outside houses, even if you look right there, all the houses they're kind of, I don't know, maybe they like them like that. Maybe they like them being one color, bland, stuff like that. And there's no artist creativity. If I ever own a house, I'm gonna paint on the outside walls. Do some. I don't know how to draw that well, but what I'm gonna bring up here is, we would do wall, like we paint your walls, stuff like that. If you want to have, basically, Bionic Enterprises is kind of an everything kind of business, and I don't have no limitations nowhere. I want everybody to be involved, and if somebody has something to say, if you guys want to see something to happen, then bring it up, right? More into the entertainment and organization, because that's what this is all about. In the area of the north I live in, I'll give you a rundown of life. Okay, on a, I'll give you a rundown of life on the daily in terms of extracurricular. In terms of extracurricular. Next to your work or school, where I am right now, there's two arenas, several shopping stores, very a couple good restaurants, and then the bars and gambling. And I mentioned that before. That's about it. My hometown, there's a gym and a school, and then the surrounding environment, which people hike and hunt and jazz like that. The closest movie theater of any source of entertainment is a minimum 2 hour drive from where we live, and uh, this is why there is a necessity to what I'm saying. I One thing we need more 24/7 street fairs would be awesome. In the immediate in the immediate convenient open location. And every town has that 2 block wide open grass, unused locations, which once or twice a year have something going on there. You know what I mean? You know what I'm talking about. But why not have them? Why not have them all year? Have them all year long. Uh, Adding on to the rid of vehicles, could imagine all that extra space being used with the rebuilt materials into fair activities and team building exercises, and I say adult playgrounds, but you've probably seen them in movies where like the hero's training or whatever, and they're running and doing all the backflips and stuff. Why not have some of those in like modern everyday society anymore? Instead of having to pay, your $20 or whatever to go to the gym, and I just have it there available to go do, right? Rebuild materials into fair activities and team building exercise. Adult playgrounds. That's emphasizing on more extreme stunt parks. However, giving use with the proper training, children could use them as well. Not to mention, it would be awesome taking all the potential gardening would be able to bring back markets, like going back to bringing back some more community. If there were so many people gardening, you could bring back your flea markets and stuff like that. Just have people selling stuff, walking around, people buying stuff, walking around. You know what I mean? Uh, However, giving you bring back markets and community selling, the possibilities are endless. I don't necessarily have any ability to come up with all the plans myself, so we will see how my ideas so far are getting you guys hyped. And I really hope that there was not too much parts that I got a little bit left to read. Then I got to do some editing. I hope that I didn't lose too much interest there. A very broad topic of Bionic Enterprises is fundraising, seeing as all previous areas in every way are intertwined. Like they're all intertwined piece by piece with each other and always intercepting. Fundraising so beyond all of what previously discussed. I'll start with more obvious ones. You know what? I'm just gonna stop it right there. I'm not even gonna edit this video. I'm going to upload it the way it is, and I will edit it after. Well, actually, I could probably start editing it right now, and you know what? Thank you. Thank you for watching. The second version of this video will be a lot cooler, have animations, be able to be a lot shorter, because I'll cut it in a lot of places. But you know what? Have a good day.